Hello everyone. Today we'll start with our next topic of moment distribution method, that will be moment distribution method for sway type of portal frames. What are the sway frames? I have already told you in our previous slope deflection unit over there. For that you can refer your previous lectures of that. Okay. For calculating the moment distribution method for sway type of portal frame, you have one different concept other than your non-sway frames over there. That is, you have to calculate the relative stiffness in a different way. You have to calculate the relative stiffness in a different way as compared to your non-sway frames over there. In non-sway frames, what we have seen, relative stiffness, it is nothing but it is the ratio of I by L quantity, that is moment of inertia to the length quantity that we are using for beams and non-sway frames. Non-sway and beams we are using this. But in case of sway type of portal frame, this quantity changes to I by L square over there, right? So you have to remember this thing, that instead of I by L, you have to calculate the relative stiffness in terms of I by L square. For that, three different cases we are going to see further. Again, the difference in this non-sway and sway type frame is that whatever analysis we are going to perform, initially we have to assume that your frame doesn't sway. Initially we have to assume that your frame doesn't sway. So whatever analysis will carry, that will be called as your non-sway analysis. Will carry your non-sway analysis that will be conducted as per your previous numericals, that is beams and non-sway frames over there. And after that, assuming this sway relative coefficient over there, we are conducting the next analysis that will be called as your sway analysis. Along with this, we have to introduce the shear equilibrium equation in this, because as per our sway concept, what happens, your dk value, that is degree of kinematic indeterminacy, it increases by 1, that is your delta value comes into effect over there, that we consider as towards, or we assume it towards the right hand side of the frame over there. Okay, so we'll see the cases which I have told you for relative stiffness in case of sway type of portal frame over there. Okay, so you note down these cases very carefully. So we'll see the cases in this. The first case what we'll be seeing is, suppose when both ends of column or vertical members, you can say, are fixed. When both ends of a column or a vertical members are fixed over there. So I'll draw one diagram for that. Suppose these are the two columns over there. I am changing the length of these two columns over there. Suppose length of first column is L1, length of second column is L2. Then moment of inertia value for first column is I1, and for this it is equal to I2 over there. Okay, this is A, B, C, and this will be a D over there, right? So suppose I am applying any lateral load of amount Q to this frame over there. Due to this load, what will happen, this frame will try to sway towards the right direction over there. Suppose it sways in this way, whereas this quantity will be called as your sway coefficient, that is equal to delta over there. So as per our previous conventions, what happens, due to this swaying effect over there, your translation rotations are induced over there. Okay, translation rotations are induced at your this joint C, and also it is induced at this joint D. Okay, and amount of this is 6 EI delta upon L square, and for this also it is 6 EI delta upon L square, irrespective of its sign conventions. I am not noting here sign conventions over there, but you can just write the value, that is 6 EI delta upon L square over there. Okay, so if I take the ratios of this translational displacement of these two columns, that is if I conduct the ratio of MBA is to MCD columns over there. Okay, ratio of what, it is nothing but the ratio of relative stiffness, we'll say. Okay, so whatever this part is there, that is I divided by L square, that part gives you the relative stiffness over here. That is why in definition of relative stiffness it gets changed. That is for non-sway frames, your relative stiffness it is equal to I by L, and in case of sway frames it is equal to I by L square over there, right? So I'll substitute the values of this. So MBA I am getting equal to 6 EI delta upon L square over there. Okay, so I'll write that value 6 EI delta upon L square, right, is to, next is your for MCD again value you are having 6EI delta upon L square over there. But thing is what, here you are having I1 value, here you are having L1, this is your I2 and this will be your L2 over there. Okay, so suppose I am assuming that here due to this lateral load, whatever this delta is occurring at point B and point C are same over there. That is why what will happen, if I conduct this ratio over there, I'll get this as 6EI delta will get cancelled over there. That is I by L1 square is to I2 by L2 square will be remaining over there. So this will be your final ratio, that is MBA is to MCD. When your both ends of column are fixed, you have to conduct that moment of inertia ratio of first column is to moment of inertia of the second column. It is equal to I by L1 square is to I2 by L2 square over there. So in this way you have to calculate the moment values of MBA and MCD over there. Now irrespective of this, remaining members will see. So these two members are done over there. So which members are remaining? Suppose MAB is remaining, right? MDC is also remaining. So whatever translation rotation is inducing at this point B, same translation rotation is also induced at this point B. Because why? Your moment will get carried over to this, because this is your capable support over here. So whatever moment is coming at point MBA, same moment will be of point AB. So first thing what I am writing, that is your MAB value will be equal to MBA value. MAB value will be equal to MBA value. Same way that will be considered for here also for second column, that is MCD will be equal to MDC. So these three major things you have to remember in this. That is your moment of your moment ratios you have to conduct I by L square, and whatever translation rotations are inducing at point B and C, if its farther end are fixed one, so same values you have to take at the other points also. So MAB comes equal to MBA and MCD comes equal to MDC. So this will be our first case, that is when both ends of the columns are fixed over there. Okay, one more thing, whatever these horizontal members we are seeing, that is this is your member BC. So for BC, whatever this sway coefficient delta is occurring, that will change or that will affect only these column members over there. Because if your length is suppose I1 of this, by after swaying your length may get changed or elongation may occur at this point B and point C over there. That will not make any effect in the length of this BC member over there. So in carrying out the sway stiffness factors over there, if your horizontal members you are having, you have to treat moment of MBC and moment of MCB directly equal to 0. In all the cases, that is case number 1, 2 and 3, in all the cases if your members are horizontal, you have to treat those members moment equal to 0 directly. Okay, now we'll proceed to your second case over there. So you write down case number 2. Okay, case number 2, when both ends are hinged. When both ends are hinged over there. So again I'll draw the diagram over here. Same diagram I'll draw. A, B, C and D. Length of first column is L1, moment of inertia value is I1, length of second column is L2, moment of inertia value is again I2 over there. And here what you have to do is you have to introduce the hinge support over there. So I have introduced one hinge support here at point A and one at point D over there. Okay, now whatever these translation rotations are occurring, those occurs due to suppose lateral load over there Q. Due to that what will happen, this frame will try to sway by an amount delta over there. Okay, due to which again translation rotations will be induced at these points C and B. So whatever translation rotations we are inducing for the fixed support, those are 6EI delta upon L square and 6EI delta upon L square at both the ends if your joints are fixed one. Here in case of the hinge support, this value comes equal to 3EI delta upon L square, and this will also come 3EI delta upon L square over there. So note the change over there. When your supports are hinged one or your far end is hinged one, at that time your translational displacement allows the rotation of 3EI delta upon L square. Okay, instead of 6 here you have to make it 3. Okay, so if I take again the ratio of these two columns, that is MBA is to MCD over there. MBA is to MCD. What I'll get? First MBA value, that is 3EI1 delta upon L1 square is to moment of your CD, that is 3EI2 delta divided by L2 square. Again 3E delta will get cancelled over here. So what will remain? I1 by L1 square is to I2 by L2 square over there. I1 upon L1 square is to I2 divided by L2 square. So whatever ratio in your first case and second case is coming, that is coming same over there. MBA is to MCD. Okay, but here one change is happening, that is in this cases your AB and BA value, while as your CD and DC values were coming same. Okay, but here what will happen? Here this far end support, that is A and D support, this will be your hinge support, that is those are your incapable supports over here. Okay, so whatever the value of MBA I am getting, that will be not equal to your value of MAB. Instead of this, what will happen? Your MAB value will remain directly equal to 0. Why? Because your support at point A is incapable support over here. Same is condition with your point D also. Your MCD value will not be equal to your MDC value, whereas your MDC will remain equal to 0 again, because again D is your incapable support here. And for horizontal members, as I have told you, your MBC and MCB, that will be directly equal to 0. So these conditions you have to remember in this. Everything is dependent on the capability and incapability of the support over there. So if supports are capable, further supports are capable, you have to apply the moment over there. If further support is incapable, that is the hinge support, at that time your moments will become directly equal to 0 over there. So this will be your case number 2. Now we'll move your case number 3 over there. Now case number 3 will combine both the cases first and second over there. That is when one end is fixed and other end is hinged over there. One end is fixed and other end is hinged. That is, I'll draw the same diagram over there, just I'll change the support conditions over there. So here suppose A support is fixed one, and at B support you are having the D support, you are having the hinge support over there. Due to this lateral load Q, again here this frame will sway by an amount delta. Length of your first member is L1, moment of inertia value is I1, length of your second column member is L2, moment of inertia value is again I2 over there. So if I conduct now translation rotations over there, that is translation rotation inducing due to this delta at point C and due to this delta at point B over there. So B here are having fixed support over there. So translation rotation inducing value will be how much? That will be equal to 6EI delta upon L square I1 L1, right? And here you are having hinge support, so this value will come 3EI2 delta divided by L2 square over there. So note this, if your support is fixed, that translation rotation value comes equal to 6EI delta upon L square, and if it is a hinged one, that will be a 3EI delta upon L square, provided this support will be a capable support, that is fixed support, and this support will be a incapable support over there. Okay, so if I conduct now again ratios of these values, that is MBA is to MCD value. MBA I am getting 6EI1 delta upon L1 square is to MCD value I am getting 3EI2 delta upon L2 square. So if I simplify this, what I'll get? 2I1 upon L1 square is to I2 upon L2 square. That is, I get the ratio of 2:1 for this MBA and MCD values over there. Okay, but provided along with this condition will be what? MBA is to MCD. This ratio we have got, that is 2I1 upon L1 square is to I2 divided by L2 square over there. Now we'll see the conditions for remaining moments over there. That is, now if you check, joint A is the capable support over there. So whatever moment is coming at this joint B, that is BA moment, will be equal to your AB moment, and AB will not be remaining equal to 0 now. Okay, then this is your incapable support over here, that is at joint D. So whatever moment is coming at this joint C, MCD will not be equal to your moment of MDC, provided what? MDC will be equal to 0. So this will be your case number 2. And for horizontal members, directly MBC is equal to MCB will be equal to 0 over there. These conditions may get interchange over there. Sometimes your hinge support may come at point A and fixed support may go at point D over there. At that time, these conditions will get interchanged. At that time, what ratio will get? I1 by L1 square is to 2I2 divided by L2 square. And this will be what? MBA will not be equal to MAB, but MAB will remain 0. And this will be what? MCD will be equal to MDC, and MDC will not be equal to 0. While as your third case will remain as it is over there, that is MBC will be equal to MCB, and that will remain equal to 0. Only one concept you have to remember over here. What is that? If your support is a hinge support over there, at that time translation rotation you are going to take it is value 3 EI delta upon L square, and if your support is a capable support, at that time you are going to take translation rotation value equal to 6 EI delta divided by L square over there. Okay, so this is the only concept that is getting changed in case of your numericals of non-sway frames over there, right? So in your next lecture, what we'll do, we'll try to solve the numerical on sway frame over there. Okay, if you have any query in this, you can comment in the comment box over there. Thank you so much.